So Shoto Todoroki, the son of my favorite character, Endeavor, Enji Todoroki, he obviously has half hot, half cold, ice powers and fire powers. And then kind of a third ability when he combines them together, like a fusion state called phosphor. And also, in order for him to get to his fusion state of phosphor, it takes time. He has to like charge it up and build it up on like some spirit bomb, boruto, uzahiko type stuff. For me, Shoto's speed is going to be in the activation of his fire and ice abilities, and also the speed at which he can launch his fire and ice abilities. So not only just activation, but like application as well. And less about his physical movement speed. He has like these kind of bursts of speed when in his physical state. However, he can increase his physical movement speed by using Flash Fire Fist that he learned from his father. So he can definitely have like Endeavor levels of speed. And there's also moments where like his movement speed, at least in Phosphor, he's like blitzing his brother. It's like very impressive. Shoto should have base durability. However, his base durability is high. As an example, if you go back to his battle with his older brother, spoiler alert, Toya blitzes him and then knocks like uppercuts him or whatever into like a skyscraper, like a building. He crashes through this building and bro's good. Like he's back into the fight a few moments later, and he was able to maintain his phosphor as well. That was pretty impressive in terms of a durability feat. And then you have our boy Lemillion. He's basically Obito from Naruto. Intangibility. That's essentially what he has. Not only is he like intangible, but like he does things in this show with his like physical might that you're like, bro, this dude clearly has like enhanced physical stats. This dude punched a Nomu and sent this Nomu flying like and did like area of effect damage, like crashing through like the side of like a little mountain or whatever. I was like, what the fuck? What is this? When he goes intangible and then he goes tangible while within like say a solid object, it forces his body out like violently, and this gives him a speed boost. I'm pretty sure he uses that like velocity to increase his offensive potency, and this is responsible for that. The interesting thing is his durability. He doesn't seem to like break his hand with this increased offensive output. With that being the case, obviously Lemillion's going to win the durability battle. Not only if you want to say like he has to be able to endure what he outputs. So because his AP skill is so high because of permutations side effect that catapults him out of physical objects, that velocity amp doesn't break or shatter his bones when he like tags targets, the Nomu and so on and so forth. It must speak to his durability as well, which is like crazy high. But then also he could just become intangible. So it's like the ultimate defensive ability in like the entire verse, bro. Like dude is so OP defensively that during the final battle against the final boss, all for Shigaraki, and the reason why I say all for Shigaraki because it's like all for one in Shigaraki's consciousness in one entity. Bro was just like, bro, listen, your defense is so OP. I'm just gonna walk past you because fighting you is a waste of my time. I won't be able to tag you. But your offensive output is so beneath my durability that you're just not worth considering. So it was like he complimented him and insulted him all at once. So from my perspective, if all for Shigaraki is not fast enough to tag this dude, there's no way Shoto Todoroki can tag this dude, bro. No way. Like Lemillion's crazy. His speed and his defense is like nasty work, bro. If I had to like ponder who's faster, because I like to start these versus battles off with speed when I can. So for this analysis, I do not believe that Shoto will have time to get his phosphor off because that takes time to charge going up against Lemillion, because Lemillion's speed will just blitz him. He will have no time to enter into that fusion state. So in terms of speed, I'm giving it to Lemillion. And in terms of durability, I'm giving it to Lemillion. In terms of just overall defensive prowess, I'm giving it to Lemillion. Now maybe Shoto can like out-strategize him. Possible, very possible. But Lemillion is a like genius. You gotta remember, this guy is trained by like Night Eye, like All Might's sidekick, and this dude's like big brain as hell. He's a very strategic fighter, and you can see this when he goes up against Class 1A for the first time. There's a scene where he like goes to poke out Izuku's eyes, and Izuku like blocks it, but it was just a misdirect so he can come up with an uppercut, and then he takes out Deku. So this dude's very level-headed. He's also very strategic and very intelligent. Conversely, Shoto is very intelligent. He was able to accurately break down some of Bakugo's movements during his first kind of battle with Deku, which was very impressive because Bakugo's a battle genius as well. Check out my Endeavor versus Bakugo versus battle. Not only that, but his application with his quirks, like it's very brilliant. The ability to use like multiple things in conjunction with one another, even if they kind of like benefit each other, very impressive indeed. Plus he comes from like he's trained by Endeavor, who's like a genius as well. Again, mentioned in my breakdown video with him versus Bakugo. Check that out. So they're both intelligent as hell. In my opinion, I think that this is more or less neutral. Shoto being more emotionally volatile, this may or may not hinder him, but not so much to where I would factor it in any major way in the analysis. So I'm just going to give them neutrality with their intelligence.
Impressive. Fight!
So how do I think this fight like breaks down? I'm going to center the battle, the ruined wastelands of Decay. This is where Bakugo, Deku, Endeavor, Eraserhead, all of them are fighting Shigaraki when he first awakens. He's not quite 100% that battlefield, perfect battlefield. And they both fought on that battlefield, so it's fine. I think Shoto's best option is to try his best to buy time to enter into Phosphor, which is going to increase his potency. If this doesn't work, which I don't think it will, Lemillion's just way too fast and strategic for this, the next best thing is to change the battlefield to his favor. There's a technique called Hell's Curtain where he just blankets the environment with like hellfire. I think something like this can work if you're using like the Minato tactic. And that is, Minato can teleport to his kunai, so you need to like set up traps around the kunai so that when he manifests towards them, he takes damage. And we know he can do this because Endeavor can do it. They have the same quirk. Once you change the environment, he can cool himself down with his ice. Whenever Lemillion becomes tangible, he's going to take burn damage, and he needs to be tangible to deal damage. I think Shoto needs to maintain his fire constantly. This is going to limit the angles of attack that Lemillion can hit Shoto with. Shoto's left side is off limits because he'll just take burn damage. Now he could go plus ultra beast mode, sacrifice a hand in order to get in a hit on Shoto. It's an H strategy. It just depends on if you think his hand will survive incineration from hellfire. I'm not so sure it will, personally.
Only someone with heat resistance could overcome Hell's Curtain.
From my perspective, Lemillion is going to have to attack Shoto from his right side, the ice side. Now, Shoto can create ice barriers, but Lemillion can just like phase through them, so this is not a problem for him. In fact, those ice barriers may just amplify his velocity if he just undoes his quirk in the middle of it and it'll just like ramp him towards it, so that's interesting. With this being the case though, I think that Shoto can mitigate the openness or the kink in his armor on his right side by, again, blanketing the area with hellfire. That way, even if you get past the ice, you still have an environment of hellfire that's going to cause burn damage to Mirio. This is like the best tactic I can think that he can do. Now, in his Phosphor state, I suspect that this is impossible for Mirio to get past because Phosphor is basically a combination of fire and ice. So he can just like, on any side, he can just use cold flames and he just has no openings. Like if you hit him, you're just taking damage, bro. But again, I don't think Shoto can just get Phosphor off. He doesn't have enough time with Mirio's speed. You know, he can do a Raikage A thing that he did with Sasuke to where he just sacrifices his arm in order to get damage in. I think the damage would be enough to bypass Shoto's durability, given what I've seen from his attack potency, especially if he's using like velocity amps, but it's not guaranteed to put Shoto down. But I'm comfortable saying that if he's sacrificing a limb to get in a hit, I'm cool with that. Then I will say Lemillion wins. And I think all he needs is like one hit, by the way. I don't think he needs like multiple hits. Like bro took out like Deku with one punch. Like this dude's nasty. He punched Kurashima with his hardening quirk. Bro punched him and knocked him out with his hardening quirk activated. I'm pretty sure Shoto is going down with a single punch, bro. But for Lemillion, that's a GG. At great cost, by the way. If I look at Shoto's win condition, the Hell Flame is hot enough in the environment to where it just takes out Lemillion when he reconstitutes himself for an attack, or the Hell Flame that he keeps constantly raging on his left side is so hot to where he can't pull off the Raikage A tactic. It just incinerates any limbs that comes near it, and bro just dies if he tries to go for it. But in a hypothetical situation where he does get Phosphor off, I just don't know what Lemillion does, because Phosphor, it's not like it's going to be relegated to one side or the other. He can just maintain that tactic indefinitely, just all across his body. It's just all worse, bro. Bro's gonna be getting like frost burn and actually flame burned all at once. It's just gonna be like the same tactic but like worse. I don't know how Lemillion wins if Phosphor is in play, but I don't know how Shoto gets to phosphor with Lemillion speed. So given that that's the case, if I start them off base to base, Lemillion wins more than he would lose. If I start it off phosphor versus Lemillion, which is unfair in my opinion, then I would give the fight to Shoto. By the way, in the future, post time skip, Shoto's the number 2 hero. Guess who's number 1? Powers! I'm just saying, bro, post time skip, Lemillion is number 1. Number 1. So the number 1 hero takes it. The number 1 hero takes it.
Stuck in his head is a dream where imagination forms a beautiful scene. He believes in himself, but he fights for a thing with everything more. The time it goes, the streams they flow, and hope is low. You can always call on Mello, call on Mello, call on Mello. Yeah, 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 yeah. Mello is the dream, born to do his thing. Mello the dreamer, Mello the dreamer. Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Unlock the dream upon a world of fiends, melting minds with his words. It's a twisted scene. Darkness surrounds him. It's a haunting theme. Mello is the dream, born to do his thing. Mello the dreamer. Oh. Mello is the dream, born to do his thing. Mello the dreamer. Oh. Mello the dreamer. Oh. Mello the dreamer. Oh. Mello is the guy, and he's on the rise. Ay. When he hits the top, do not be surprised. Ay. He may analyze, but he never lies. Built by design, he was made to shine. Hey, cartoon gang, old school boomerang. New age, big B, the same old slang. Mello talking anime, streaming every other day. Wouldn't have it any other way. Ay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mello is the dream, born to do his thing. Mello the dreamer. Mello the dreamer. Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Unlock the dream upon a world of fiends, melting minds with his words. It's a twisted scene. Darkness surrounds him, my God. He has a haunting dream. Yeah. With his third eye he sees a world full of disease, a sea of conspiracies. Pop culture distracts with these.